wonder what happens when you mix hot lava and chicken?
Minecraft in the United States in one weekend made more money than Snow White has made globally after 3 weekends.
Rachel Zegler's involvement in the live-action Snow White project was supposed to be a crowning achievement, a moment where star power merged with Disney's classic legacy to usher in a new era of fairy tale adaptations. Yet, from the moment rumors surfaced about significant changes to the beloved story, public opinion began to shift. The conversation took an even sharper turn.
Rachel Zegler then inexplicably continued to post herself in an empty theater for her own movie. She's literally the only person there. Meanwhile, the experience at Minecraft goes something like this.
Chicken
When Jack Black allegedly confronted Zegler over the film's production issues and her fervent defense of the project, this confrontation, according to widespread whispers, may have triggered a breakdown on Zegler's part, one that underscores the intense scrutiny and pressure that have built around this adaptation. What started as a Disney remake with high expectations has morphed into an ongoing saga.
The future of Hollywood is being battled out right now in theaters as 2 live-action remakes from the biggest studios in Hollywood go head-to-head.
Complete with accusations of misguided creative choices, test screenings that seemingly created more problems than they solved, and speculation about whether Disney's approach to revitalizing its classics has finally overstepped the mark. Long before any confrontation between Jack Black and Rachel Zegler was rumored to have taken place, audiences were already discussing a wave of criticism aimed at this version of Snow White. Dedicated Disney fans, who generally welcome every remake, sequel, or spin-off, soon felt uneasy about the direction of the story.
Warner Brothers' Minecraft movie versus Disney's Snow White, which in theory should be quite a battle, but it's not even a fair fight.
Whispers of an overbearing message permeating the narrative, combined with test audience complaints of an uneven pace, amplified skepticism that this particular production might be faltering. While some chalked up early grumblings to the typical cycle of internet cynicism, a chorus of dissatisfied voices grew louder each time a new detail emerged.
Snow White, of course, famously played by the insufferable girl boss narcissist, who's just clinical at this point, saying that audiences will always line up to see her no matter what she does.
Premiere.
It reached a point where even Bob Iger, along with Zegler herself, took to public channels to try to quell the discontent and assure everyone that the film was simply misunderstood. Despite their best efforts, the controversy surrounding Snow White became nearly impossible to ignore. Reports suggested that reshoots and last-minute edits had created jarring tonal shifts in the final cut. Rumors swirled that entire scenes were cut or rearranged at the 11th hour, leaving the continuity in shambles.
And everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Test audiences described an initially promising opening that quickly deteriorated into an incoherent sequence of events. Some lamented that the pacing never recovered from its early missteps, while others pointed to a heavy thematic layer overshadowing what should have been a charming story about one of Disney's oldest princesses. Amid the swirling debate, a new storyline emerged.
You know what's interesting about all this is that the only person waiting in line to see Snow White was Rachel Zegler.
Jack Black, known for his comedic verve, energetic performances, and surprisingly thoughtful takes on pop culture, allegedly confronted Rachel Zegler about her handling of the mounting criticism. While details of this confrontation are murky at best, rumors indicate that Black questioned whether dismissing fans as ignorant or malicious was the right way to address genuine concerns.
Rachel Zegler then inexplicably continued to post herself in an empty theater for her own movie. She's literally the only person there. And do you not understand how humiliating this is?
This direct approach, as the story goes, led to a heated exchange in which Zegler grew visibly upset, culminating in what witnesses have described as a full-on breakdown. Some speculate that she felt cornered, carrying the immense weight of an anticipated Disney blockbuster on her shoulders, while also grappling with harsh personal critiques on social media.
Meanwhile, the experience at Minecraft goes something like this.
Chicken.
Others believe that stress from reshoots, negative fan reception, and the reorientation of the film's narrative had already pushed Zegler to her limit, making Black's pointed confrontation the final straw. As these rumors spread, various corners of the internet seized on them as proof that something was fundamentally wrong behind the scenes. It wasn't simply a matter of creative disagreements.
And the cops had to escort the rowdy teenagers out. The Minecraft movie is doing something magical. It's creating a live audience reaction event.
It was an indication that the tension and frustration felt by fans and critics alike had seeped into production itself, affecting the personalities involved. Neither Disney nor Zegler publicly acknowledged the alleged confrontation with Jack Black, but that did little to stem the flood of speculation. People who had already decided that the Snow White remake was a misfire found new fodder for their arguments.
Encouraging to see a movie that decided to do the opposite of Snow White, which is, according to all available reviews, including from the people that I trust the very most on this platform,
painting a picture of a tumultuous set and an embattled leading lady. Some watchers urge caution, reminding everyone that internet hearsay can balloon without concrete evidence and that big-budget productions are often under tremendous stress, which can lead to emotional moments that might not necessarily define the whole project. The question at the core of this controversy remains the same.
It is non-political. The Minecraft movie does not try to beat you and box you about the ears with the message.
How did a fairy tale is cherished as Snow White becomes such a hotspot of discourse? And did Jack Black's rumored involvement highlight deeper issues in the film's execution? While Zegler continued, at least publicly, to stand behind the story's merits, critics argued that no amount of public relations spin could disguise a weak foundation. They pointed to structural flaws in the screenplay.
It is just silly fun for kids, which is what a kids' movie should be.
Dismissing defenses like, it's just silly fun for kids, which is what a kids' movie should be. Abrupt scene transitions and uneven pacing never allowed viewers to settle into the narrative. Even the comedic talents of those involved, like Black, assuming he had any cameo or creative input, could not salvage a film many suspected was overburdened by an agenda. In the weeks leading up to the film's broader release, Bob Iger joined Zegler in trying to maintain optimism about the project.
Whereas the Snow White model is the message ad infinitum, shoved directly up your ass, and, most importantly, in the most insufferable possible way, like screamed at you.
Emphasizing that Disney has a history of reinventing its classics in ways that speak to new generations while retaining the heart of the original. However, longtime fans, typically loyal, began posting openly critical remarks, a rare break from the enthusiastic welcome Disney remakes usually receive. Many felt it wasn't just a matter of personal preference, but a fundamental misalignment between what audiences loved about the original Snow White and what this new version delivered.
And so let's see how they fared against each other. The Minecraft movie breaks box office record with $300 million global opening, while woke Snow White slips again.
Some insisted the collision of modern sensibilities with timeless fairy tale simplicity created a disjointed experience, while others suspected production meddling had diluted any sincere creative vision. Rumors of the Jack Black confrontation only intensified this discussion. Yet the actor, respected for navigating Hollywood's eccentricities, could not contain his reservations.
In theory, Snow White should as well. Snow White's the movie that made Disney, the studio. They should have been more cautious and careful with their own IP.
It seemed to reinforce the idea that the film was in more trouble than Disney cared to admit. Cynics jumped on the story as proof of a meltdown within the production. Meanwhile, Zegler's defenders argued that if she did break down, it was understandable given the high-pressure environment and intense social media scrutiny. They noted that female leads often bear the brunt of fan dissatisfaction, especially when defending work they believe in.
The Disney Snow White, faithfully adapted, would have made $1 billion. Everyone knows this.
The hush around the topic only fed curiosity. If there was no truth to the rumor, why not issue a clear denial? Conversely, if a conflict had occurred, fans wondered whether the tension reflected creative chaos behind the scenes. Critics dissected test screening feedback, which included complaints that Snow White drifted from its core into forced territory. Audiences noted the story began with charm before devolving into heavy-handed messaging, with scenes connected by ideology rather than organic plot development. Any comedic tone, even from a talent like Black, clashed with the film's newfound seriousness, leaving the identity of the film lost between progressive ideals and fairy tale tradition. Under these circumstances, humor risks feeling like a band-aid over deeper narrative wounds.
So the film received a low score on Rotten Tomatoes, but 87% fan approval. The rankings were very similar to Snow White, which received a 40% critic score, 73% audience ranking. Yeah, right.
Meanwhile, Rachel Zegler's reactions to negative reviews remain a hot topic. She had hinted that critiques were disingenuous or rooted in bad faith, which some interpreted as dismissive of valid feedback. This echoed other Disney controversies where dissent was labeled trolling rather than legitimate criticism. As fans felt unheard, discontent escalated. Even supporters of The Jungle Book, Beauty and the Beast, and Aladdin reevaluated their stance after the rumored Zegler-Black clash. Insiders claimed reshoots caused narrative whiplash, with pivotal scenes cut or rearranged into disorienting transitions.
However, the Minecraft movie was not plagued by controversy of being woke.
Hardcore fans at advanced screenings described a film lacking Disney's signature cohesion, veering between seriousness and whimsy without mastering either. They speculated producers had desperately tried and failed to balance modern messaging with nostalgia. Some even suggested Black's alleged confrontation stemmed from frustration that the project's potential was being eclipsed by bad publicity and a confused storyline. Observers saw a warning sign. When Disney's most ardent supporters turned critical, the issues run deeper than petty creative disagreements.
Rachel Zegler, who was cast in the title role, but some diehard fans were upset that Zegler, who identifies as Colombian American, was cast to portray the Disney princess.
This signaled to many that the negativity surrounding the film wasn't simply a vocal minority. Instead, it was possibly a bellwether for a larger shift in audience perception, one that might affect future Disney projects. The rumored meltdown between Zegler and Jack Black, if it really happened, symbolized how tension had grown palpable among the film's own contributors. In analyzing potential reasons for this breakdown, many contended that the film strayed too far from the original fairy tale's essence. While updating a classic can refresh and expand upon the source material, critics argued Snow White's identity had been supplanted by a heavy-handed moral. The film, they said, cared more about delivering its message than providing a cohesive story. Advocates of reimagined classics counted that each generation deserves versions of these tales that reflect contemporary values. Yet they acknowledge that overstepping into didactic territory risks alienating the very audience the adaptation aims to captivate. Compounding these creative issues, the production team's public statements sometimes frame critics as merely negative or unappreciative of artistic vision. This approach, implying only true supporters understood the movie, backfired, leaving fans wondering why their legitimate grievances were dismissed. Here, the rumored confrontation with Jack Black added a meta layer to the controversy. If a figure known for bridging mainstream audiences and creative insiders felt compelled to challenge Zegler's stance, it lent credence to the idea that something deeper had gone awry. The meltdown narrative, though potentially exaggerated, fit into the broader picture of miscalculation and mounting stress. Speculation mounted that Greta Gerwig, who had some involvement with the project, might issue clarifications, whether defend production or explain the script's intentions. Any statement from Gerwig could shape discourse further, but pundits cautioned such efforts often read as damage control, especially when audiences already sent a mismatch between promise and delivery.
Got destroyed.
If viewers believe a film fails at storytelling's fundamental level,
the Minecraft movie made $60 million
can easily reclaim
on Saturday.
Industry watchers voiced concern that repeated stumbles in Disney's live-action ventures might harm the brand's long-term reputation. While earlier remakes consistently drew crowds, diminishing returns and louder criticism suggest the formula is losing steam. Snow White's woes could mark a tipping point, forcing executives to rethink strategies. Some wondered if the meltdown rumor served as a dramatic emblem of Disney's broader struggle to revamp its classics. If the film underperforms, it may confirm audiences are no longer content to pay for big-budget nostalgia, devoid of the magic that originally sparked their love. Amid this, many reevaluated Disney's reliance on its golden library of animated features. The notion that nostalgia alone guarantees success appears increasingly questionable. Online communities, once they sense a beloved classic's heart has been disrespected, can unleash immense backlash. Fans want updates that celebrate what they cherish while offering fresh insight, a balance rarely achieved when heavy-handed themes or muddled storytelling take precedence. In the broader sense, Snow White's travails reflect a cultural moment where nostalgia is no longer a guaranteed ticket to success. The meltdown, real or fictional, is a microcosm of how quickly dissent sparks personal confrontations in today's hyperconnected world. It also underscores the mounting demand for authenticity when reworking beloved heritage. If audiences detect cynicism, a fiasco can escalate overnight. Modern media and fan communities thrive on dramatic narratives. The tale of a comedic luminary confronting a rising star merges the personal with professional, layering tragedy atop an already embattled project. It resonates because it mirrors the frustration surrounding the adaptation itself. The meltdown rumor becomes an allegory for production losing its way. For Disney, the real question is whether Snow White's reception and the swirling rumors will prompt lasting change. Studios often double down after fiascos, blaming marketing or external hostility. But if the film flops, it may force a reckoning. The next wave of remakes must be more thoughtfully crafted, or another meltdown, literal or metaphorical, looms. Those recounting the meltdown story claim it occurred when tensions were already at a breaking point. Zegler, fending off relentless attacks on her performance and comments, may have viewed Black's intervention as a betrayal. The irony, a moment meant as a wake-up call, was sensationalized, overshadowing any legitimate critique. If true, the incident underscores how fragile the situation had become, a reminder that pushing too hard in one direction risks cracking the foundation. Still, some Disney enthusiasts dismiss meltdown stories as fabrications, arguing negativity follows a cyclical pattern. Fans resist change, rumors swirl, and films are panned prematurely. Until confirmed, skepticism is warranted. Yet it doesn't erase complaint about disjointed narratives, last-minute edits, or Snow White's lost bearings. Test audiences described a patchwork of ideas overshadowed by forced messaging, a flaw no rumor could invent. Ultimately, the film's box office and word of mouth will determine whether meltdown rumors fade or fossilize as part of its legacy. If Snow White defies expectations, defenders may claim vindication. If it flounders, the controversy will cement its status as a cautionary tale. Either way, the debate has become a case study in how fan passion, corporate strategy, and creative vision can collide, producing off-screen drama far more compelling than the story on screen. In this sense, the meltdown, real or symbolic, has already made Snow White one of Disney's most controversial remakes, a potent reminder that not even the most iconic tales are immune to modern cultural storms.